Hello everyone, welcome back to the updated beginner's guide to hunters in Conquest. We will be playing the ADC role, which is what hunters are designed for. We are of course Neath again. Now for this enemy team composition, they're very standard form. They have one of each class. You can expect that each class is going to go into their usual roles, but I am looking at Nemesis very specifically here. The reason why is because Nemesis ult allows her to steal protections from whoever she ults. If she ults either our support or our solo lane, then she's suddenly going to be very tanky. So whereas with a standard comp like this you would probably want to go crits, because for about a 5-second period of time Nemesis could be very, very tanky, we're going to be looking for a penetration build here, just because of Nemesis. Okay? So that's what I'm primarily looking at here. I'm also looking at, alright, do they heal? And the short answer is Sun Wukong does. Nemesis might, depending on whether or not anybody can cancel her shield with crowd control. But other than that, not really. So unless the enemy builds substantial amounts of lifesteal, I'm probably not going to incorporate anti-healing. But going with a penetration build will be conducive to building anti-healing, because I can very easily incorporate Brawler's Beatstick and have that not affect my damage output. So that's what I'm looking at here. So we hop right in here, and I think this is a little too loud. Nope, that's fine. And of course we're going, because I'm going for the pen build, I want Death's Toll. I want to bring that to Death's Temper later on in the game, because that's going to boost my auto attack damage. And that's really what I'm looking for. Now the first thing I'm going to do is run off and ward our purple. I've seen this relatively new strategy of people using Hog to, or Hand of God, to clear the enemy purple buff. Normally you would have what is known as the Invasion Curse or the Invasion Sickness, depending on who you ask. They call it two different things. And that reduces your attack speed whenever you're on the enemy side of the jungle before minions spawn, or shortly after minions spawn as well. But with Hog, which doesn't use attack speed, it's very possible to steal the enemy's buff. There is a downside to this. I'm actually going to go on ahead. Actually, I don't need to pause it right now, but in brief, if you steal the enemy's purple, that means you're not taking your green, and that actually is going to not really put you ahead, which is why you don't see this too often. It's an inconvenience for the other side, to be sure, but it's not going to put anyone ahead. Really, all it basically does is, depending on how fast you are, it's going to either keep you both sides from getting to level 1 after the first wave, or it's going to, if you're fast enough, you can run to your purple, clear that, and then get to level 2 after the first wave. It depends on how fast you are. That's going to depend on your duo lane composition. That's all going to depend. Now, I paused it here because I wanted to point out a couple of things that I'm doing here. Now, first off, I am positioned here specifically. Notice I'm in a very specific position, and that I hit the buff first. Maui backed off and let me hit it first. The reason why is because by hitting them first, I am pulling them to this side of the circle, the area that they spawn in, which means when I clear them, Maui will have less time to run. Now, this doesn't seem like a really big deal, but this is the really early game. We're trying to get to lane as quickly as possible, so it's actually very important. Now, I know some supports don't necessarily know this. Some supports want to tank it themselves. Guan Yu, Sylvanas, people like these. They want to start clearing it first because they either have an AoE auto attack that they can really take advantage of if they're the primary target or whatever. Now, Maui has a cleave. He could theoretically have tanked this, but generally speaking, as a general rule, when you're a hunter, you want to pull that aggro very briefly. Now, Neath has the advantage of being able to root the camp, so she pardon me. She gets a little bit of extra time before having to back off. Notice that I back off once they start attacking me, and because of my Death's Toll and my HP 5, I'm healed back up. It's not really a big deal if you take a couple of shots from the camp. And then what I was checking there really quick on the scoreboard was whether or not he had Hog. He doesn't, so I have to use an ability here to clear that in a decently quick amount of time, right? If he had Hog, I would not have used an ability. Now, you know, we're a little late. I have a couple of seconds to wait before using my Spirit Arrow, and you'll notice I very deliberately shot the Maui to pull minion aggro. The reason why is because right now it's just Maui. I don't know where Izanami is. I don't know what's taking her so long to get to lane. But I am assuming that in the near future, Maui will want to aggro on this, because of course we're going to have the advantage here, the minion advantage. They're down to 4 minions, we have 5, right? We have what is known as minion advantage. That matters because in the early game, minions hit really hard. So that's bonus damage, and quite a bit of bonus damage for us, which is also why the enemy Maui is backing up. He doesn't want to die here. Well, he probably wouldn't die here, to be completely honest. He would take a large amount of damage and be in a position to get killed in the next conflict, though, which is also something he doesn't want. So he backs up. My Maui chases to give me the ability to free clear, basically. And normally, see, what we're doing, what Maui and I are confused about is, normally it takes longer to clear the wave like that, because the enemy ADC is there. But because Izanami wasn't there, we now have nothing to do, in a very odd twist, simply because of how fast we cleared that wave. So now we're just kind of sitting around, trying to figure out where Izanami is. Here she is. She has the purple buff. No idea what she was doing, or why she has the purple buff and Maui doesn't have the green buff. Who knows? But off we go. So we're going to start clearing the next wave. We want to try to get some time to clear one of the camps, ideally the scepter, what I call it anyways. So we're just focusing on clearing that. We don't really look for poke right here because we already have minion advantage. And here we go for the scepter. And we're just clearing this really quick. Now, the interesting thing that happens here is, right just a second too late, the enemy Maui comes in. And this is where Izanami makes a mistake. Okay, this is Izanami's mistake, not the Maui's. The enemy Maui coming in and trying to steal that, that's what he should do, right? He was a little late to it, and probably should have aborted that the instant that he saw we'd finished that. Just cancel out of that mission. Izanami did not need to follow him. The waves are meeting right now, and she's a level down. And in the first 5 levels, a 1 level difference is huge. This is an ability difference. She only has 1 ability, I have 2. I am capable of bringing to bear much more damage than she is. And in fact, I'm getting some really free poke on her here, which is great. But what she should have been doing is using this as an opportunity to start early on the wave, knowing she's behind and knowing she's not going to be as quick about clearing it. So this is a huge mistake on the Izanami's part, okay? Absolutely massive. She even uses her Aegis here for some reason. Very unfortunate. So we go back to clearing because right now we have level advantage, so we know that we are going to, you know, clear this pretty quick. I get some free poke on Maui. He tries to poke me. He misses, barely. We clear that wave. Maui pulls in the Izanami. We get some nice poke here. Right? She backs up. We go for the next wave. He pulls me in. I get some free poke on Izanami. Now, I don't panic or anything when the Maui pulls me in because, again, we have... She literally just hit level 2. I'm close enough to level 2 where all I have to do is clear half a wave and I've got to level 3, which is going to give me my escape. So I'm not really worried. I use it as an opportunity to get some more damage in on Izanami, make her, you know, more nervous, get her a little lower. Keep on trying to clear the wave, get some poke on Izanami once again. We're going to be looking at the Harpies on the right pretty soon, but we're going to push up first. Now, I'm pushing up here because we have minion advantage, and I want to have them under tower before we go for the Harpies. It's a little safer that way. Could we go for the Harpies now? Yes, we could. Would that be risky? Yes. You have to remember that they could steal that, right? Which we don't want. After all, we put in the effort to kill the Harpies, and then they're stolen out from under us. We've just taken the damage, but we don't have the Harpies, right? And even though we're a level higher, we don't necessarily want to be trying to fight them into that damage. Now, he pulls me in. That was a mistake on his part. He shouldn't have pulled me in there. Again, I am 1 level higher than him, under level 5. That's a mistake. You can see how much damage I'm able to do to him while he's pulling me in. I just let him pull me in. I activate potions. It's not really a problem. He used to have a health advantage over our Maui. Now, we almost kill him here. Obviously, he gets away. It's a bit unfortunate, but it achieves a very similar effect. Like I say pretty frequently, it's fine if you don't kill someone as long as they go back. At this early in the game, it's almost the same thing because death respawn timers are fairly low. You can also see where I got some free poke on Izanami there. Now, I'm going to be tanking this because my health potion's running, and that gives Maui a break, right? If my health potion wasn't running, I probably would have just let him tank this, but my health potion is running. It's basically free tanking for me, so I go on ahead and tank that. We're going to clear this really quick because we want to go for a purple. Ours are theirs. Now, Maui is going to decide pretty shortly to go for theirs. I expect by this... See, I'm going to go for ours originally because I kind of expect they're already close enough to finishing it off that it's not even available. I happen to be correct. You can see she just got it. So we aggress onto them instead. Now, this is risky. We're taking a risk here because if you notice, we don't know where Nemesis is. We have no idea where Nemesis is. But if we can take out at least the Izanami, that's going to be worth if the Maui can get out. So we're trying to get the Izanami here. I really go deep for this. I backflip in. And then what she does is she hides right behind the tower. Now, I make a mistake. Well, I make one correct move here. I do this. That's fine. And then I activate my Aegis way too early. I don't know what I was thinking. If I had activated that in time, and I actually say oops there because that was purely me mistiming my Aegis. I could easily have survived that if I'd timed my Aegis better. I goofed it, I died. But it's still going to be an advantage of about 200 gold. You can actually see that when I check the scoreboard right afterwards. Did I check? Yeah, I checked the scoreboard right afterwards. Right after killing her. Hold on. I kill her. I whiff my Aegis. And I believe I checked the scoreboard right afterwards. It's tough remembering when I checked the scoreboard. I know I checked shortly afterwards to see how much advantage. It winds up being like 200 gold. Because she doesn't have a kill. I killed her. And Maui got the kill credit for the tower. Right? I think. Here's where I check it. Yeah, I have 2,750 basically. And she has 2,580, so it's almost a 200 gold difference, which isn't bad. You know, that absolutely works. You know, my Maui has been defending the wave. I'm going to be going for my purple buff, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. We get this golden experience, which is exactly what we want here. And we just clear this as normal. I also got a sentry ward because I am getting concerned. I've been not seeing the Nemesis a lot, so I buy a sentry. I usually buy sentries just because I find them, you know, just nicer to be able to see enemy wards. Now, the enemy Maui initiates on, or tries to initiate on me. I back up. I get some nice poke here. Now, I've made a mistake. He gets level 5, and I realize this a second too late. I actually realize just, like, the split second before he starts ulting, I realize, hey, he's level 5. But, of course, I'm too slow to react, so I run into the jungle. Now, I run into the jungle for 2 reasons. 1, I'm closer. 2, actually, there's 3 reasons. 1, it's the closest option for getting out, right? I can run towards Maui, who's over there near our obelisk, so I have a better chance of surviving by running to him. Second, I can use this wall here on my left as a way of blocking Izanami's shots. Third, and this is the most important, I'm less likely to be body blocked by minions while running. See, I just did some damage to Maui, so I'm going to be a priority target for the minions. I probably would be anyways, simply because there are no other minions on the field right now. None of my minions are on that side at this moment. So I'm likely to be a priority target anyways, but minions won't necessarily follow you that long if you haven't damaged an enemy. So the fact that I've recently damaged Maui puts the very distinct possibility that the minions will follow me for a longer period of time. That's a very big risk for me. So I run into the jungle, because it's going to at least give me some leeway here. The minions wind up not following me. I go on ahead and back, well, some of them do. You can see 1 or 2 right there. I backflip out, and I'm able to get away and heal up, and I'm activating a health potion. Now, you'll notice I didn't activate a health potion when I was first pulled in. This is because I wasn't sure I was going to survive. And if I die after activating a health potion, I just wasted that health potion. Once I get under tower and I'm relatively safe, that's when I activate the health potion. Now, we still have problems. You can see where Maui is being confronted not only by the enemy Maui, but by Nemesis. The enemy Maui isn't a problem. You can see he's got next to no mana. It's the Nemesis that's scary. She's level 5 as well, and my Maui is still level 4. Right, so this is a definite problem, but there's not really a whole lot I can do. He does make a great getaway. Absolutely legendary escape. I see Maui there. I'm not sure where Nemesis is. I think she's gone, but I'm not sure. Right, I have no actual idea where she is. They're going for the Scepter. That's fine. That's giving us the opportunity to clear this wave. Clear that. Now, my Maui initiates. I don't think this is a great idea here because, in all honesty, yes, the enemy Maui has very little, but so does my Maui, and there's still minions wandering around. And in fact, they actually block a couple of shots here. I'm just trying to get rid of these guys, trying to get them out of the way. I missed that root on Izanami, and then I just back up. I'm just like, nope, I want to clear the wave. I don't want to fight this right now, so we back off. We're clearing the wave because they have minion advantage again because, of course, we had the 3 minions following Maui, and now we have the regular enemy wave. So they have minion advantage. We don't want to fight into that. So we're going to try to clear the wave here. They're back under tower. Maybe they back, maybe they don't. Maui decides he wants to press this. I want the Harpies. He ults, and I am fortunate enough to be close enough to take advantage of that. Now, we almost kill the Maui, but I, of course, don't have my Aegis up, so I can't tank the tower for an extended period of time. But, again, close enough for government work. He's going to have to back. He's not going to survive literally anything. So, we clear another wave, and then, ideally, we go for the Harpies. Right? And I go for the Harpies. He starts backing, but realizes, hey, splitting 2 ways is better. Let's split this so we clear the Harpies. Right? In terms of team distribution of golden experience, splitting is a little bit better than going solo. You only want to solo clear if you're really behind. I don't happen to be really behind, and that actually puts the Maui up in a better position, because before he was lower level than the enemy Maui, so now he's ahead again, so that's really good, really important. Now, after this wave, I go back because I want Transcendence. I want to start building those stacks to maintain my advantage over Izanami. That is my goal here. Grab the Baron's Brew. I shouldn't have grabbed this. I don't wind up using it that often if you pay attention to it throughout the match. I very rarely use this. I use it a couple of times in the late game. I used it a couple of times right after getting it, and then in the mid-game I basically forget about it. I should have bought a Sentry Ward there. That would have done me far more good. You'll see what I'm talking about in a bit. I'll point out when that would have been a good idea to have a Sentry Ward instead, but that is a mistake on my part. I just don't know it yet. So I clear this, because the wave is there. Izanami literally just arrived there, so I'm not too worried about that. I totally missed the fact that there's a ward there. I actually did not notice that at the time. That's one thing I would have liked to have gotten rid of. She has minion advantage, so I'm just looking to clear waves. I'm not really looking to do anything. I poke her here, but I'm not really looking to fight her here. I'm backing up. She uses her ult. She's looking for a fight because she knows she has minion advantage. I don't know why she doesn't press me here. She should have pressed me here. Right, she just reached my level, and she had minion advantage. She should have pressed that. Now, she's lower on health than I am, so she was probably nervous about it, but that was a good opportunity that she threw away there. Okay, she had, like I said, she had the minion advantage. She can also shoot through minions. I can't do that. I'm just looking for poke. She backs up. I was checking the Scepter. Scepter's not up. I'm looking for something to do. I'm wondering if there's any good ult opportunities. There is not. So I just kind of waited out. I don't want to leave lane or anything like that because, you know, obviously Izanami would come back in and clear the wave. Now, I put that ward down. I put my temp ward down. My basically free ward. If I had a sentry ward, I could have put the sentry ward there and put my regular ward or my free ward on the enemy's side of the jungle, and that probably would have saved my life a little bit later on. Again, you'll see what I'm talking about in a bit. Now, I decide I'm going to launch an ult here because Maui's in trouble, so I want to try to stun someone out. It seems to work. He does get out. I don't know if that was because of my ult or not, but it doesn't hurt to throw that out there. What else was I doing at the time, right? Now I'm going to go for the Scepter here because it is going to give me a little bit of an advantage over Izanami. It's going to help me clear a little faster. It's going to keep me ahead. Also, the golden experience. Grab that. Doesn't register for some unholy reason. Go back, grab it again. Now, Izanami knows I have this because she had that ward there. And at this particular point, I clear this. I don't know where she is, and I'm kind of wondering where she is. Right, her purple buff probably isn't up because mine isn't up, and hers is likely following a similar time scale. My minion wave goes under tower, and I still don't see her. Clear that. Now I'm kind of nervous. You know, what's going on? Where is Izanami? There she is. What was she doing? And I check, because the first thing that occurs to me is, did she back? I check on it a little bit here. I clear the wave, because obviously I don't want to check while clearing the wave. And then while I'm going to the purple buff, which needs to be cleared, I check what Izanami was doing. Because, again, her purple buff definitely wasn't up. And I check, that check was just to find out, she went back. Because if you actually notice, right? Notice here, she now has Transcendence and 3 stacks. 3 fresh stacks that she just got from this wave here. So I know that she went back to Fountain so she can buy Transcendence. That's what she was doing. She was running back from Fountain, which was my baseline theory, but I just wanted confirmation. Because if she starts building stacks, I want to know about it, right? So I clear the purple buff. I clear this thing here. And at this particular point in time, I'm a bit nervous because, once again, I haven't seen Nemesis in a little while. Izanami isn't here for this wave. There she is right there. I'm going to go on ahead and try to aggress on her. Maui comes in to interfere with that, but I was going to aggress on her because, hey, look, I've got minion advantage. He chases me for a little while. He backs off. I'm not really sure what he's doing over here. Maybe he was trying to legitimately gank me. I don't know. But at this particular point in time, you know, I have to refresh my free ward. You'll be confused about that later, but I'll tell you about it later. Now he ults me here. He's really trying to get me killed here. I just back up. I'm clearing the wave. I don't want to fight into that because obviously 2v1 plus minions is a really bad idea. And then Maui leaves. Now he hasn't tripped my ward again, so I'm kind of cautiously thinking about re-engaging with Izanami. Can I, in fact, engage her in conflict here? I go on ahead and start clearing the wave, trying to figure out, you know, what's my move gonna be. Do I take the risk? Do I not take the risk? I've got the scepter. I back up, and then I see Maui in mid lane, and I know, I'm fine. Right? Now, Nemesis could still show up, except there she is right there. I just see her trip the ward we have on there, speed buff, so I know for a fact now that Maui is somewhere in mid. Maybe he's coming back over by this time, but Nemesis is in left jungle. Maui's probably going to go help her out. My Maui's hanging around the left jungle, so it's pretty likely that they're trying to get something done in the left. Maui, in fact, my Maui engages on the enemy. I can see the Maui and the Nemesis there. I push up, right? I'm going to throw out an ult really quick just to contribute. And then what I'm looking for at this point is an opportunity to kill Izanami while everyone's in left. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to go ahead and clear the purple buff. I imagine she's probably going for hers, so I know she's not going to be available to kill in a bit anyways. That's just something, you know, if I were in her position, I'd be going for my purple as well, so I assume that she is. Off we go. Clear the wave. Kind of surprised she isn't here. Kind of glad, because that would have been fighting into her in a minion wave, which is something I don't want to do. Now I hear her clearing this, which is interesting, but she lets me get some free poke here. She backs out, which, you know, this is one of the strengths of Izanami. I have no idea where she went. She disappears into the ether. That's fine. I'll go clear the wave. I expect she'll probably turn back up in lane. She wasn't low enough on health where she would be likely to go back, so I'm expecting her to show back up again in short order. I'm going to go for the Harpies while waiting for that. Again, just golden experience. I still don't know where she is. There she is. She just reappears in lane. That's fine. Now, what I decide to do... At this point, I've pretty much lost my opportunity to kill Izanami. She's probably backing up or whatever. Either that or... Yeah, right now, she's pretty close to the tower. I just cleared my wave. She just cleared hers. I can grab my Aussie. I can grab my next item, which is going to be Hydra's Lament. I grab some items. That's fine. Now, there's another benefit to this, is that she basically free cleared my lane. Yes, I lose a couple of minions here, but this is going to give her a little boost of confidence, hopefully. I don't know what it is about people when they full clear a wave and the enemy doesn't show up. They get really aggressive. I don't know why. This is fairly common. It's not like a rule of thumb or anything like that. I just see it a lot. I don't know why, but... I clear my wave. She definitely backed, right? And I'm kind of expecting some aggression out of her at this particular point in time. There's nothing else really to do. She's not here. I assume, okay, she's coming back from Fountain. I get some shots on her tower. She's, attacking. She gets some poke on me. I back up. I was kind of hoping to actually take the tower. She was obviously hitting me with too much poke for that. I clear her wave, and then she aggresses. Now, this is a huge mistake for her, okay? For a number of reasons. First off, I know where she is because of that scepter. Well, I know pretty closely where she is. So, I have a pretty good idea of where she is. And my first instinct is to use Unravel so I can reduce her attack speed and increase my own. That's my first move. Not really for the healing, that is just for the attack speed swap. The bigger point here is that I've just cleared her wave. My wave is coming in. In about 5 seconds, my wave is going to be coming up on us and adding their damage to mine. So as long as I don't die before the wave shows up, I pretty much guaranteed win. She has to back up, but she just used her escape as initiation. So that's going to be, for the next 10 seconds, she has no way of getting away from me, right? She whiffs her ult, which she really needed to hit if she was going to win this, and then we start fighting. Here's my minion wave, right? And then they start adding that damage. I land the root, minions are hitting her, and then I'm just going to finish her off with my ult, right? Now, this is the problem, and if I had a sentry ward here, I could have put that down. Right? That could have been down. That's what I was talking about earlier, that I wasn't warding heavily enough. I fell out of the habit of warding because I hadn't been ganked. Here we are getting ganked. But what surprises me is Sun Wukong is over here. The Nemesis doesn't surprise me at all. The Nemesis, I was expecting at some point. I've been talking about it for a while because most of the time, at some point, as an ADC, you're going to get ganked by the enemy jungler. It happens. It's part of the jungler's job. Sun Wukong is a surprise, and this is the problem for me. Nemesis wasn't a problem. Sun Wukong was. But this is also the reason why she initiated, by the way. She initiated because she knew they were coming in. The problem is she initiated too early, right? Now, at this particular point, I've backflipped and they're still on me, so I know for a fact I'm not surviving. It's a guaranteed I'm dead. There's no saving me from this. My best option is to do as much damage as possible for Kali, who you can see coming in. Kali is definitely coming in to help me. She's gonna be too late. Very likely. It would take nothing short of an absolute miracle for her to arrive on time. So I'm just going to try to do as much damage as possible to give her what she needs. I'm focusing on Nemesis because Nemesis hits harder between Sun Wukong. I actually kill her, thanks to Aussie. And I do some damage to Sun Wukong, right? But what I basically got there was a 2v1. Or a 2-for-1. I killed Izanami. Absolutely fantastic. That puts me very ahead of Izanami. You can see I'm halfway to 15. She's still level 13. I also killed Nemesis, which gives Kali quite a benefit. Now, Kali was already ahead at this particular point in time. That's fine. But the fact that she died here and Kali is going to be picking up my boy here, that is another great benefit for Kali. She's now 3 levels ahead of Nemesis rather than the 2 she was before, so this is a huge benefit for Kali. That is great. The fact that I was able to take Nemesis with me additionally is a huge win for the team. Okay? Massive benefit to Kali, who can then translate that benefit into other lanes. And in fact, because Sun Wukong came all the way to right lane, just to kill me and then die, he lost his left tower. He wandered too far away, and that's actually part of what surprised me, is just the fact that he was way the hell over there, basically gave up his first tower. Now my allies work on the Gold Fury, because obviously the enemy team just got slapped. Great, we get the Gold Fury. I go back to my lane, keep on farming, because I'm trying to just get as beefy as possible at this point. I want to maintain my lead. I want to really capitalize on it. I'm level 15. My laning opponent of Izanami is level 13. Now she makes another interesting mistake here. She lets me get some poke here. Right? She probably should have backed off. And she actually massively clears the wave. And she was setting up... The reason why she lets me get the poke earlier is because she wanted to early clear, so that way she would have minion advantage to try to fight me. But she's still a level down. Alright? And she misses her shots. She also doesn't have ult, right? So I actually deal a lot of damage to her here, and then just finish her off once again, regardless of the minions. I'm just out healing the minions, basically. And it wasn't necessarily a bad idea for her for her to try it, but the fact that she took poke while early clearing is the problem. Now I get ganked again, this time by Nuwa. They're really starting to become concerned about me. And this is something that not a whole lot of people talk about. When you're really starting to pull ahead in a lane, the enemy team gets worried. They don't want someone getting really huge and beefy, so they try to slap you down, okay? Now, I'm not that concerned. Once I successfully backflip, I'm not really that concerned. Maui's already used his pull. I'm 5 levels ahead of the enemy Maui, and I'm 3 levels ahead of the enemy Nuwa. I'm really not worried here. I have a massive power advantage over these two, right? And I'm about to get under tower. I get under tower. I'm really safe. Now, Nemesis comes in from behind and kills me. That's fine. I take her with me once again. So once again, we have a repeat 2 for 1. I kill Izanami, I kill Nemesis. This is a huge opportunity for my team. Once again, this is going to help Kali get even farther ahead. And my team is also able to capitalize and absolutely thrash the enemy team. Because again, they're kind of... Well, okay, the Nuwa isn't underleveled because Hera is... I was going to call her Hell for some reason. Hera is level 13. I mean, they're about even. But, you know, for the rest of the team here, they're all... There's quite a substantial level difference. They really mop them up. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, the enemy team does something that I'm not sure I would have done in the same situation. They are running over here for Fire Giant. I think it's a little early now. I also have, if you notice, I've also got my tower being pressured right now. So I have a choice, and I choose to defend my tower. Why? Why do I choose to defend my tower rather than going for the Fire Giant? Despite the fact that we're really ahead, on paper, the Fire Giant's a really great idea. However, there's a couple of problems. First off, we just won a fight, and the enemy team is far enough behind where they're respawning very quickly. In fact, you can see they haven't even gotten to the Fire Giant yet. 3 of the enemy have just come back fresh. Nuwa's going to come back in less than 10 seconds. Sun Wukong is going to be the longest delay, but they're all going to come back fresh. Baron Samedi is half dead, right, at the very least. And Hera isn't ahead, she's behind, actually. And Maui isn't so far ahead that that's really a big, you know, a huge advantage. He's only 2 levels ahead. I can guaranteed save this tower. Even if I were there at the Fire Giant, that is not a guaranteed we get the Fire Giant. It could be stolen, right? So I choose not to go with them, okay? Because right now we have a really nice level advantage. Now, Kali kills Nemesis here, and Izanami's way over here, and with that knowledge now, yes, I should have gone for the Fire Giant, right? Now I know that the Fire Giant would have been the better choice. They're working on the Pyromancer currently, I think. The Fire Giant would have been the move. Now that I know that Izanami went to right, and that Nemesis just died, right? But at the time, literally 10 seconds ago, that I had, with the information that I had, I chose the guaranteed safe option. Save the tower. Fire Giant was not guaranteed. We were in a good position. We probably could have gotten it, but we weren't guaranteed to get it. And if we lost that Fire Giant, you can see how much damage they were taking from it. If we lost that Fire Giant, that would have been a really big problem. Because if we lost that Fire Giant fight, the enemy team very likely would have been able to turn things around and gain an advantage. So I didn't want to take that risk. My team starts the Fire Giant, they can't take it, they back off. That's fine, right? I'm trying to push this right tower while everyone's distracted at the Fire Giant. The enemy team is fighting my team in the left jungle with number disadvantage. They have 2 or 3 people. Right, I'm trying to kill Izanami here because I've got a 2-level advantage. They kill Maui. Very unfortunate. I'm trying to... Now, right here, you know, my team has just lost their fight in the jungle. I'm trying to bait out the Izanami. She kind of falls for it. She backs out. I whiff. I see... I'm assuming Sun Wukong teleporting in. I gotta get out of here. I'm not gonna fight Sun Wukong and Izanami. That's not gonna work well for me. So I just leave. And I'm just gonna run back. I want to grab this buff here, the obelisk buff. I'm gonna grab the herpes. It's gonna be a good time. Really lovely. And then we're just going to clear wave. And I'm a little worried about where Sun Wukong is. Here he is. Now, I'm surprised he came from behind. That does very much surprise me. I just go under tower, right? I use my Unravel to go right on ahead and heal up a little bit here. I'm trying to stall out. I'm trying to get her off the tower. Trying to survive. And I start attacking Sun Wukong. Now, Sun Wukong dies here because the Izanami decided to keep attacking the tower, but she gets forced out by her minions dying, and I get to heal off the wave here, which is absolutely fantastic. So Sun Wukong is down. We have numbers advantage. Kali starts killing people off. She takes out Izanami. She's probably going to take out Maui as well. I want to contribute to this, so I go right on ahead and root him, and I just wind up killing him as well. Nemesis comes on to me. She is going to kill me, definitely. I actually kill myself on the shield, which is a really good play by the Nemesis, by the way. That was a really good play. But she gets killed by Kali right afterwards. I just actually saw this over here happening right after I had died, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And again, Baron Samedi can get away with this because the Sun Wukong was all the way in my lane, again, for... Well, teleporting over there to defend the tower makes sense. I can understand why he did that. Why he stayed in lane to try to kill me when I was level 17 at the time, I don't know. If I didn't stay at the tower to try to engage them at that point, it was very unlikely that they were going to kill me at that point, because I have a root, I've got a self-heal, I have Aussie, I have Hydra's Lament, I've got everything I need to be able to survive quite nicely on my own. So Baron Samedi is taking advantage of this fact, because Baron Samedi, of course, as a mage, doesn't exactly have great tower clear. So he's really capitalizing on this unnatural situation of a small legion of archers, right? So I kind of laugh about that for a bit, and then I go back to spectating Kali, who is, on the hunt. I'm working towards my chin size, excuse me, because again, I'm going for that pen anti-tank build. Chin size is really big for that. And off they go to try to capitalize on this win. Now, they're basically just kind of waiting for the Gold Fury at this point, I'm guessing. We just won a big team fight. We're really ahead, and the Gold Fury isn't quite as concerning to lose as the Fire Giant. I don't know why I paused that for this conversation. Losing the Fire Giant gives the enemy team gold experience and a really substantial buff, right? It heals their health and mana. It increases their damage output. Losing the Fire Giant buff hurts. Losing Gold Fury is inconvenient, but it doesn't hurt, because it's just gold, right? So my team is fighting in the jungle. I throw out my ults. I target Maui specifically to help Kali kill him, because, obviously I went for Nuwa. I was trying to shoot Maui, missed, targeted Nuwa by accident, right? Now, the reason why I wanted to shoot Maui is because he is the enemy support. He's going to last the longest, so throwing my ult at him is going to really help the team out by doing substantial amounts of damage. I have 10% pen, so it's going to do a decent amount of damage. It winds up hitting Nuwa, who, takes the damage, but I was trying to get Maui. I just goof. Go back to lane. I'm, again, trying to maintain my advantage here. Izanami backs off. My team is ganking mid. Here's Maui. He backs off real quick because the Izanami wasn't as fast to the scene as he would have liked. I go on ahead and get some poke on her because I'm not sure how aggressive Maui feels about this. I'm just trying to poke him out right now, and I'm basically waiting for reinforcements. I still don't want to engage in the 2v1. I'm not so far ahead that I can get away with that. Yes, I'm 2 levels ahead of the Izanami, but there's still 2 of them. I cleared the wave. I tried and figure out what they're doing. Maui is trying to figure out what he wants to do. My team clears people in the left lane. Now, at this point, I make an interesting decision. I commit to this attack because my team is all in the left lane, and they've just killed Nemesis and Nuwa, and now they're about to kill Sun Wukong. I can see Sun Wukong being fought by Maui on the map. That means that the only other 2 alive enemies are right here. I decide what I'm going to do is just stall them out here as long as possible and give my team the opportunity to attack left lane. I want them to take that tower and maybe even take a Phoenix. Possibly. Who knows? But I tell them, attack left lane. I've got these 2 in the right lane. I'll take care of it. Right? So I aggress. Maui initiates. I pull in, but I use Aegis to, not take damage from that. And they're really aggressing on me. I'm trying to do my best here to stall them to, be an attractive target. Maui dives way too deep for me. I try to kill him. I don't do enough damage, of course. He's a tank. It's not going to be enough there. I go on ahead and poke out the Izanami. She now has to leave. And I'm still, just trying to keep him here. I'm trying to... That's why I actually leave the tower line. I'm trying to keep them here. But here's Baron Samedi to come save my life. They did take the tower, right? We kill Izanami. That's absolutely fantastic. So it is an absolute win. We took left tower and we killed Izanami. I didn't die, and now I'm level 20. Right, I'm second person to hit level 20. Kali beat me because Kali just did insane this game. So Baron Samdi and I want to push up. I'm okay with pushing up with Baron Samdi here. Even though he leaves lane, he's in the jungle, so he's kind of acting as a buffer. And in fact, he encounters the only thing I'm concerned about. He encounters Nemesis, which gives me time to pretty much free take this tower. I'm not really concerned. Here comes Maui. I am far enough ahead of Maui where I don't care. I really don't. He's 5 levels down. I root him, I shoot around him, I take the tower. It's fine. They kill Nemesis, so I'm comfortable continuing to fight him. They're fighting in the jungle. There's not really any other enemies alive that really are a concern. I don't know where Sun Wukong is, but Sun Wukong is also only level 15, and I've almost killed Maui at this point. Right, I almost kill him, Kali comes in, cleans him up, that's fine. We can now push down right lane, because at this point there's only 2 of them alive. Off we go, right? I thank the Kali for killing the Maui, because that gives that more time we have for this. Sun Wukong initiates, because I guess he's insane. He should have just stayed under tower, to be honest. He almost dies here. He's forced to ult, but it's not enough. Right? He dies anyways. We take out Izanami. The entire enemy team is dead. This is a Phoenix. This is a Phoenix, right? Now, I'm okay tanking this for a couple of shots because I've got that weave right there. I heal off of it. Not completely, but enough where I'm comfortable. We take this really quick. Now, we're aggressing for a very specific reason. We know we have a catapult in mid lane. So we know it's a matter of time before that catapult takes that tower by itself. We just need to stall, right? So I'm telling Maui to attack mid lane here while we stall out the enemy team. He decides he's going to go on ahead and join us anyways. You can see him fighting a minion wave there to try to give the catapult some time. And then once he's done with that, he joins us over here. He just runs through the Phoenix. We are literally just stalling for a catapult. That's why we're here. Okay? It's a very odd situation, but that's how it is. So we're just fighting, we're just doing what we can. Maybe we're going to grab some kills, maybe we won't. We're just trying to buy time. We take the tower. We should be leaving now, alright? We just got the tower, right? We should be leaving. The tower is unlikely to move forward and take the Phoenix. Yes, it's moving forward now, but it's about to meet a minion wave, so it's not going to move forward anymore. It's going to basically stop moving forward because that minion wave is too close. You can actually see here where it's just a little bit too close to the catapult. I don't think the catapult is attacking those minions. Now, Baron Samedi tries backing up, which is fine. We are now, trying to get out of here alive. We die. We basically overstayed a little bit, right? Once that tower was taken, we should have just bailed. We should have left, or we could have retreated back to the Phoenix and tried to push the catapult forward. One of the 2 options would have been fine. They eliminate the catapult really quickly. Based on the fact that, based on how quickly they killed that catapult, I would have to say probably it wasn't in great condition anyways. But once that tower fell, we should have been backing up. We had no reason to be staying there past that. We basically just left too late, right? Now, what I'm thinking about at this point, we've just all died. The enemy team is going to be going for something. Now, Hera makes the correct choice here. She goes over here and clears this. Nemesis is in mid. Okay, maybe they're not going for a camp, but somebody really needs to be warding these. Fire Giant, Gold Fury, these should be warded, right? Kali is probably moving at that point to the Fire Giant. She's going to clear those Harpies really quick, but she's probably moving to Fire Giant. They clear it in that time. Okay, she aggresses onto Nuwa here because Nuwa's low. She kills Nuwa, and I know, look, I gotta do something. I'm throwing out my ult. Again, I'm looking for Maui. There's Maui. I fire that off. Hopefully, I'm gonna stun him or get him killed or something. He dies. Absolutely fantastic. That's what we're looking for. Alright, enemy support is dead. We're gonna aggress on this. We're looking to take probably mid-Phoenix at this point is likely what we're looking at here. That seems to be where the fight is going, and, while we're there, we're just gonna go on ahead and clear that. I go on ahead and throw an Unravel at these minions just to help out the wave here, just catch up a little bit faster. That's what we're really looking for. And my team is already initiating on the Phoenix. Now, I want to actually stave off some potential criticism of the Kali here. Kali is clearing the speed buff so she can heal a little bit. That is not her frivolously wasting time clearing a speed buff for no reason. She's trying to heal off of it. She's a jungler. Her starter item heals her in the jungle, whether it's Boomba's Dagger and it heals her on camps, which is what I believe she has, or if it's the egg that heals her while she's in the jungle. Either way, she's trying to heal here. That is what she's doing. She's using her daggers to get lifesteal and heal off of it as well. That's what she was doing, right? So now we're going to be trying to take the Phoenix. My team is fighting between the Phoenixes, which is fairly interesting. We're about to get the minion wave, so I'm not too concerned. Here's the minion wave. It's just this Sun Wukong now. He comes in to interfere. So now we're just trying to beat this Sun Wukong back so that way we can take the Phoenix. And we're just basically fighting for our lives right here. Right? Take out Nemesis, absolutely fantastic. Sun Wukong stalls us out with his ult. Kills Kali, which is deeply unfortunate because she's definitely one of the star players on the team right here. And now I'm just trying to clear the wave, trying to heal off the wave, trying to kill him. Miss. Try to kill him with the ult, still miss. Go for the Izanami. And Hera picks her up. Amen for that, because she got out of my range. And again, we're just fighting desperately to try to get the Phoenix here at this point, right? That's what we're looking for. Dodge this, barely. You can actually hear the crystal whiz by. Clear these minions for the healing. Get Sun Wukong off of me once again, because this guy's hyper persistent. You know, keep on fighting, keep on fighting. We're just literally just trying to take out the enemy here. I'm just trying to focus, and I'm specifically, when possible, focusing out the tanks, because again, as an ADC, that's part of my job. It's why I'm going after Maui here rather than the Phoenix. It's my job to get rid of these people. Hera picks that up, that's fine. I did my job, I did a lot of that damage. Great. Back to the Phoenix, trying to take the Phoenix out. Trying to take out Nuwa, just so we get, you know, don't have to worry about her. And, you know, my team saves me from Nemesis here, which is absolutely fantastic. Go back to trying to take the Phoenix. Finally, we take the Phoenix. After that huge struggle. But that is what we were fighting for. This is finally what we were fighting for, is this Phoenix. Now, we make a mistake. We aggress. And we are not in any condition to do so. I'm half dead. Baron Samedi is 3/4 dead. Hera has very little mana, right? We probably shouldn't have tried this. Now, we're obviously feeling very arrogant. We have 44 kills to 20. You know, we're feeling kind of spicy here. But off we go. We're making the attempt at the Titan, and we're getting fought off because, of course, they're coming back fresh, and we're very not fresh, right? So, you know, we're fighting here, and it's, you know, Kali goes in. She, you know, takes out Maui. We take out Sun Wukong. And here comes Nuwa. She kills Akali, disappears into the ether. Not sure where she went, but, you know, Nemesis and Nuwa spawn back up. And then I at this point, I know I'm dead. Right, I've just been ulted. I'll backflip, but she has her dash. I'm just dead, right? Boom, boom, dead. Yeah, I'm not even remotely surprised. I grab Dominance because that's going to put me at 35% penetration for my auto attacks, which means if we need to take another Phoenix, or if we start aggressing onto the Titan next time, I'll do even more damage. I have Death's Temper. It's a lovely time, right? I now have full build, so I'm pretty happy. We're pretty much almost guaranteed to win the next fight because we are not only ahead in levels, generally speaking, but we all have full build. The enemy team doesn't necessarily have full build, right? I believe I checked that. Did I check that before, or did I check that afterwards? I can't quite remember. I thought I checked that right after dying. No, I bought my item. I don't remember when I checked what their build status was at. Of course they killed Maui off. There's no way he was getting out of that. No, I don't remember here. Anyways, I don't remember when I checked. But my team is now looking for looking at the Fire Giant again. Not necessarily a bad decision. We're all coming back fresh. I'm on my way. And off we go, right? Maui's going to be right behind me. They clear my right tower. That's fine. They needed the golden experience. I'm not too surprised. You know, my team is fighting the Fire Giant right here. I'm sorry, not fighting the Fire Giant. Fighting the enemy at the Fire Giant here. They're trying to scare off Sun Wukong. I don't know why they didn't initiate on the Pyromancer before I got there, but here we are. So we just take the Pyromancer really quick. And then we're going to go onto the Fire Giant. Now, this is going to wind up being a really great example. Now, they know we're doing the Fire Giant because they had that ward there. Nobody placed a ward there except for me. The enemy team attacks. Now, you'll notice I keep shooting the Fire Giant while my team tries to fight off the enemy. This is not accidental. When you are a ADC in Conquest and your team is going for a jungle camp, and the enemy attacks you, the ADC is the one that stays on the camp. Why? Because some people will disagree with me, but there's a reason for this. You don't want, and this has happened before, where I was, this particular example has happened a couple of times before in the past, so this is something that happens. But what you don't want to have happening is while you're fighting off the enemy, if your entire team is engaged in fighting off the enemy, then the very real possibility exists that one of the enemy, either the enemy hunter or the enemy assassin, is going to slip in and finish the buff off while you're all not paying attention to it at all. I mean, it's just taken this much damage, and as long as we stay in this semicircle, which if you're defending the buff you're inclined to do, it's not going to heal back up. So somebody could slip around, sneak in, and grab it while the entirety of your team is off fighting off the enemy. So it's very important for one member of the team to keep attacking the camp, to keep attacking the jungle boss. It's very important for that reason, because it helps prevent somebody from slipping around and stealing it when no one's paying attention. The mages do the correct thing here. Baron Samedi and Hera do the absolutely correct thing. They turn on the enemy. They have huge, wide, sweeping abilities. They do a lot of damage to enemy people. That is fine. As the ADC, I keep attacking this because ADCs are designed to deal large quantities of damage to single targets, such as jungle camps, such as jungle bosses. Okay, that's what ADCs do. So I know that while my team is fighting off the enemy, I should be trying to keep getting the fire giant. There is a second reason for this as well. This creates pressure on the enemy team. See, another thing that can happen when the enemy attacks you while you're clearing a jungle boss is if they get enough of the enemy team's attention, if they get enough of your team's attention, then they're attacking you when you're at your weakest, and they can just forget about the jungle boss until after the fight. By the ADC, whoever it happens to be, by the ADC maintaining damage on that jungle boss, it forces them to keep attacking and fighting into a jungle boss. By me continuing to attack here, I am forcing them to have to keep trying to attack. This matters. You'll see why in a bit. But I keep shooting the fire giant. I ignore the enemy team. I don't care what's going on. I'm still trying to get this fire giant. We lose it. But you'll notice that because Kali picks up, I'll actually let this run because she actually picks up the full penta, and I'm very excited for her. If Betray ever sees this video, congratulations on the penta. Absolutely fantastic job. But the reason why the enemy team was in that position in the first place is because I maintained pressure on that fire giant. So they had to keep attacking the fire giant as well. They had to dedicate resources to try to steal it. They did steal it. But because it cost them their whole team, it doesn't matter. And that's, in a perfect world for them, they would have, lost a couple of people but still stolen the fire giant and been able to back out. But keeping that pressure on forced them to maintain that fight. So even if you are being pressured, you're being damaged, you'll notice even when I was getting attacked, did not care, went for that fire giant. That is what you need to do as an ADC. When you're getting attacked while fighting a jungle boss, the fire giant or the gold fury, keep shooting it. Because that is, one, ensuring that the enemy team isn't going to slip around and steal it when no one's paying attention, because you're always paying attention. Two, it's going to force the enemy team to maintain the fight there under the fire giant, so everyone's taking that fire giant damage, first off. And second off, it's going to keep them from trying to back off and luring my team away from the fire giant. We all kept fighting there because they had to. The enemy team had to. They wanted that fire giant, and if they wanted that fire giant, they were going to have to maintain that fight there. By me continuing to shoot that, they couldn't back off and lure us away. So somebody else could come in and steal it when we're not paying attention, or so they could kill us off individually, not under the fire giant, and then win from there. But, while we're all weakened from the fire giant, lure us out, and then, work with that. That is why it is very important as an ADC, for you to keep shooting it. Out of the whole team, you are the most likely person to successfully take that, right? And we just turned that fire giant win that we got with the Kali Penta. We just turned that into a win here. I mean, but that is why I kept shooting the fire giant. It is very important you remember this as an ADC, because this is not talked about. And I'm sure some people will disagree with me, but I've been playing for 7 damn years, okay? I've tried everything you can think of. Fighting fire giants, fighting gold furies, etc. I was told this whole idea by another player way back in season, I think, 3. Right? 6 years ago. Because way back then, I was a jungle main at that time. In season 3, I was a jungle main. And I had initiated on the fire giant. We started fighting, and our ADC kept shooting the fire giant even after the enemy team started attacking us. I happened to be Fenrir, I remember very distinctly. I don't remember who the ADC was. I think they were Artemis, if memory serves. And this Artemis kept shooting the fire giant while we were all fighting off the enemy, and by the end of that fight, we won, but we lost 2 people, right? One of which was our mid. The mid started complaining to the ADC, why weren't you helping with the team fight? And the ADC's response was essentially, yeah, I'm the hunter, and you're fighting to defend this fire giant. If I break off this fire giant, even if you win that fight, first off, we're not in any condition to continue that fire giant fight. Okay? If I wasn't going to take it then, we weren't going to get it after that fight. 2. We won that fight because they had to fight under the fire giant. They were taking that damage, and they had to fight under the fire giant because I was still trying to take it. If they backed off to lure us away, then they could have gotten it afterwards, right? But because I kept shooting it, they couldn't back off. And he went into the whole explanation. It was beautifully put. And I didn't believe it myself at the time. I'd only been playing the game for a year. This is obviously somebody with more experience than me. I don't know if they've continued playing or not, but at the time they definitely had more experience than me. And I didn't believe it myself, but over the years I've not only played well, but also played badly under Gold Furies, Fire Giants, all kinds of things. Bull Demon Kings and Joust, same thing. And I've succeeded and I've failed at various points all the time. As an ADC, as other roles, I've experimented, I've tested things, I've asked myself questions, I've gone back and looked at my gameplay, very similar to this, just obviously without uploading it on YouTube. And I have to say, yes, he's correct. This isn't a new revelation for me. I've been running this for the past couple of years now. I've been playing this way. I've been insistent on this idea as an ADC for the past 2-ish years. But he is correct, and that has consistently been more successful to me doing it that way, right? So if you're an ADC and you're fighting a jungle boss, either the Gold Fury or the Fire Giant, and the enemy team attacks you, keep shooting the jungle boss, because that's going to force the enemy to stay there and fight under it. Now, actually, I'll give you an actual exception. Thinking about it. Keep shooting the Fire Giant. If the enemy team attacks you for the Gold Fury, back off. Why? The Gold Fury doesn't have AoE, alright? The Fire Giant, he's going to blast everyone. He doesn't care. Gold Fury targets one single person. And if you initiate on the Gold Fury, that's going to be you. Or someone on your team at the very least. That's bad. So I'll put an asterisk because this has changed over the years to this player's, and for the life of me, if I could remember their name, I would love to do that, but I cannot remember this player's name. But I will adjust what the Artemis said to me years ago, because they were using it as a blanket statement for both the Gold Fury and the Fire Giant. Keep shooting the Fire Giant. You want the enemy team under that Fire Giant to be taking damage right there with you. Don't keep shooting the Gold Fury, because the Gold Fury targets a single person, and the enemy team doesn't care if you're taking damage, right? They want that to happen. So if you're fighting the Fire Giant as an ADC, keep shooting that Fire Giant. I don't care what happens, come hell or high water. Keep shooting it. It's going to force the enemy to maintain that pressure on there. It's going to force them to fight under the Fire Giant. It's going to force them to not back off if they want that Fire Giant. In most cases, it's going to make sure that your team does get the Fire Giant. Keep shooting. Gold Fury, back off. Alright? It's important. Now, I want to talk about builds really quick because I actually know, and I know this because I checked the builds, obviously, when I was recording this, but the Izanami's build is fairly odd. Now, we already talked about the pros and cons of Izanami's various decisions throughout the match. I still have no idea what the hell happened at the beginning that Maui didn't get his green buff on their team. No idea what that was about. But my build, again, just to recap my build really quick. Death's Toll, because I really want Death's Temper. I'm going for a high damage penetration build. I know I want to increase the power of my auto attacks. I'm not going to be going crits, so I need another way to increase that power. Death's Temper is the answer, right? Transcendence, again, all about that power. Aussie, Lifesteal, some flat pen. Now, Aussie makes for a great third item because, again, not only does it give you Lifesteal, but it gives you, even more importantly, 15 flat penetration. Lovely time, absolutely fantastic. Everyone loves to see it, right? Great. So you have that. Great third item. I go for Hydra's Lament as my fourth item. Now this is very specifically because Neith, again, has really great crowd control. She does really well with Hydra's Lament. Absolutely fantastic. A lot of hunters do really well with Hydra's Lament. If you have something that you can bust out that allows you to nearly guarantee that you hit the next shot, that hunter can really make great use of Hydra's Lament. Uller is a great example. Let me see who else is. Ishtar is a great example if you can get that mez. People like that, hunters like that, can really make effective use of Hydra's Lament. If I wasn't one of these hunters, if I was like Artemis or someone like that, I probably wouldn't be building this because her ability to lock people down is reliant on traps, which the enemy has to walk into. That can be kind of an interesting question there. That's a whole conversation that we'll be having at a future point. But there are some hunters that can use Hydra's Lament, some can't. I build Hydra's Lament as my fourth item because it is a really nice damage spike. And I build it after Aussie because that bonus damage from Hydra's Lament is going to heal me more, right? That is also bonus healing because Hydra's Lament is boosting my basic attack, which means it's going to boost the lifesteal I get off of that basic attack. So that's why Hydra's Lament comes fourth, not third. I get that lifesteal bonus, right? I get chin size specifically because Nemesis was really pressuring me a lot there. I wanted the passive from chin size a little bit more than my passive. Otherwise, dominance and chin size here is pretty interchangeable, okay? I didn't need to build chin size 5th. It was an option. I could have built dominance here and chin size 6th and been just as fine. But because of the pressure I was receiving early on from Sun Wukong and Nemesis, I just felt that chin size was going to be the better choice for me here because I could actually bust out that bonus damage and maybe deal with them a little bit easier, right? That was more of an adaptation by me for how the enemy was targeting me, right? For where I was in terms of their priorities. Okay? So that was what I was doing there. The Izanami flip-flopped on her build and unfortunately made the mistake of building crits. Now, I say unfortunately made the mistake of building crits because she's Izanami, not because of the circumstances. Our build does support the idea of a crit build. We've got 3 squishier people. We have a Kali, she's got the egg, so she's a little bit less squishy than you would normally expect. We've got Hera, no protections. Myself, no protections, right? Baron Samedi was our solo lane, so that would kind of lead one into a... It would normally lead one into a crit build. Obviously, he built huge amounts of protections and absolutely built like a legend. Great job on the build, by the way, from Baron Samedi. Absolutely fantastic build. The Kali, of course, absolutely dominated. Also built a little bit there. She's getting, like, I think 45 physical protections from the egg. So that also kind of hurts a crit build as well. which is, a problem with crit builds. I haven't talked extensively of crit builds, but there's a reason why they're unpopular. I'll get into that in a second. Izanami has a separate issue with crit builds, okay? That issue is her auto attacks. When Izanami throws her scythe forward, she has two opportunities to hit the enemy. The first hit is 75% of her basic attack, of her listed basic attack damage, right? She's only doing 75% damage on that. The remaining 25% is dealt on the return hit, but the return hit can't activate items. It doesn't activate lifesteal, it doesn't activate chin size, it doesn't activate crits. Only her initial hit can activate those. As a result, building crits on Izanami is fairly self-defeating because it's only boosting her damage by the 75%, not by the 100%. Neith builds crits. Her basic attacks are completely normal. She's doing 100% of her basic attack damage on her basic attacks. Great. That is a huge boost for crits. Izanami, she's only doing 3/4 of that damage on her potential crit attacks. As a result, those crits are only increasing 75% of her attacks. So, while it's not impossible to be effective with Izanami with crits, there are way better ways of building her, because crits just aren't as strong on her as they are on most other hunters. And the fact that she built Atalanta's bow isn't necessarily crippling. It does provide you with lifesteal. But it does really hurt your ability to output damage here, right? Chin size, at the very least, even though it doesn't activate on the second hit, it only activates on the first one, at the very least, you're still going to be dealing that bonus damage, so it still works out really well. In fact, a lot of the times, chin size bonus damage can really compensate for the fact that you might miss your return shot. This is also why Griffin Wing earrings are absolutely a must-buy on Izanami, because it increases the speed of your projectiles, including the return, which means you're nearly guaranteed to get that return shot hit because it's moving faster, okay? So this is just Caitlyn just not completely understanding the nuances of Izanami and not building appropriately. That's something that comes with experience, thorough examination of her abilities, testing things out. Crits just generally don't work on Izanami. Huge reason why the Izanami had a problem here, besides a couple of choice bad decisions. But just so you all know, Izanami does not really work well with crits. One of the few hunters I'll go out on a limb and say doesn't play well with crits. Her and Heimdall. Heimdall's crits are nerfed as well. I don't like Heimdall for other reasons, but that doesn't help his case. Absolutely fantastic hunter, though. Just don't build crits on Izanami. But ultimately, that's really... Also, you'll notice another flaw of her build, besides the crits, the crit problem being specific to Izanami, is no penetration. She has 15 flat penetration from Asi, and that's literally it. She has no other penetration. Nothing. She was unable to damage our front line of Maui and Baron Samedi, and she was unable to fulfill her purpose of clearing the front line and clearing the towers and phoenixes. She isn't able to accomplish that with just 15 flat pen. It's just not going to happen. She needs percentage pen. Okay? That is very specifically what she really would have needed. So rather than, say, building Atalanta's bow, maybe she should have built Aussie 3rd, Dominance 4th, Chin Size 5th, and then finish up with, I don't know, a nice Odysseus's bow. For the attack speed, the lightning chain would have been a great time. Maybe she could have built Odysseus's bow as her 3rd item. Aussie 4th, Dominance 5th, Chin Size 6th, something like that. Who knows? But crits are not the way, and she did not have enough penetration. Yes, Izanami has passive penetration in theory, right? I'll discuss that in a future episode. I want to do more beginner's guides for Hunter here because, again, Neith is not what I call standard. I'll get back to that subject in a second. But back to Izanami. She really... She has to get kills for that passive. She had no kills here. She was not getting that passive penetration boost that she gets, right? She just wasn't pulling that off. And you shouldn't overly rely on your passive like that, because as you can see here, the Izanami overly relied on her passive and did not get it. She did not have the penetration, didn't make a difference, and that's the problem there, right? So that is essentially the issue going on here, okay? Pardon me. Now, I just mentioned that I wanted to continue the updated beginner's guide. The reason why is because I don't think Neith should be the free-to-play hunter. She has much more powerful abilities than many other hunters do, and I think she is mildly skewing would-be fresh young hunter players away from the things they should be focusing on, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. Neith is a great hunter. I love playing Neith. Neith is great. But at the same time, she is not what I would describe as being standard form for hunters. She's a little bit better now than she used to be, but there was a time where I would build her like a physical mage and do better than I would with attack speed. And there are still elements of that build the way I build her now. This was back in Season 5. Season 4. I used to do that all the time. Like I said, you can still see elements of this idea, of the concepts that I formed back then. You can still see that in how I build her today. I still don't build her standard form for hunters. And I would like to go through all of these modes again, discussing this from a more auto-attack focused hunter, like Artemis, like Izanami, someone like that, and talk more about, okay, so we've talked about a mage competing hunter, right, as I referenced them back in the Arena episode and the Joust episode. I've talked about these mage competing hunters. What about non-mage competing hunters? Let's talk about them, right? So that's what I'd like to do, right? I want to cover the hunters here and really talk about the differences here between a hunter that can clear really quickly and hunters that maybe have a bit of a harder time, and I want to talk about that because just leaving the updated beginner's guide here with Neith isn't going to tell you everything you need to know. It's only going to tell you how to do mage competing hunters like Chiron, like maybe Ho Yi if you're depending on the mode. There are some modes he's mage competing, some modes he's not, and the ones he is mage competing in, he's not competing with a mage. I'll talk about him. But I want to talk more about this, so that is my plan for the future. But in the meantime, this is sort of the essentials of being a hunter ADC in Conquest, right? These are the things you think about, these are the things you want to know, these are the things you should be doing, right? There'll be another Conquest with a different hunter in this series. Fret not. I'm not done with this series. So if you have questions, I will answer them next Conquest. Or maybe I'll answer them in the next Arena. Or whatever mode, right? Because I intend on covering a couple more hunters first. But, with that being said, thank you all very much for joining me. If you liked this, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, please ignore me. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, suggestions, or requests, please leave them down in the comment section below. And thank you all very much for joining me, and have a great 24 hours.